Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by, y'all. There's so much going on, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. So, it is fall here in the Northland. Now, I don't know if it's like legit real fall or fake fall, but I know that the leaves are changing. I know that it's chilly. I know that it's hoodie time, so I'm gonna call it fall. So it is fall, it's football season, which now means my Saturdays are completely booked up. So now I'm down to 6 days a week to get stuff done instead of 7 days a week. So that's a problem. School's back in session. So let me tell you this. So I'm going to tell you stories without like telling you too many details. 2 of my like regular homeschool students are going to public school this year, which is fine. They're bright kids. They're great. They'll do fine in public school, but some circumstances have changed, and so they're going into public school. Well, we've talked about it. I've, hyped them up, good to go. So I hear from their family the other day that they're going to take a placement test for public school, and can I tutor them for their placement test? Placement test. I'm like, well, here's the dealio with the placement test. They just want to know where to place the kids. So they don't need to cram for this test. They just want to know what they know. And I know these kids, they're fine. They know they're fine to go into public school. Well, they're siblings. It is a pair of siblings. And one of the siblings took an end of course test. Again, I don't want to say too much, but took an end of course test for a course that I taught the other sibling last year. And there were I don't know, she said she scored a 70 on the test. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll meet with her, have her make a list. So I talked to her talked to the child on the phone. I said, make a list of the things because I'm going to make them work for this, because it's ridiculous. I'm not you're going to do the work for it, not me, because this is dumb. I've told you it's dumb. You don't need to do it, but if you insist, then we're taxing you, not me. So I said, make a list of the things you want to work on. Okay. So I meet with her, and she starts reading off the list, and it's all things that are beyond that grade level in public school to know how to do. And I was like, dude, you don't need to. There were a couple of things that she needed to know how to do. I was like, all right, let's work on it's going into 8th grade math, and it was polynomials and graphing and stuff like that. So graphing, it's over and up, over and up, over and up. That's all you need to know. And she just had never done it in her program. So we did that. In polynomials, she literally just didn't know the word polynomial. So I was like, all right, look. So we worked on that, and then I was like, okay, hang on, Linda. Her name's not Linda, but you know that the meme from back in the day where the little boy looks at his mom and goes, listen, Linda. I do that with these 2 because they're such freaking Lindas. I was like, look, Linda, calm down. I said, and this is so true. I was like, look, when you're in the classroom and the teacher starts talking and they, he, she, it, whatever your teacher is, says something, and you're like, oh my good gracious, I have no idea what they're talking about. You need to take a beat, take a breath, and don't worry about the words. Look at what they're actually doing, because maybe they're using a word that you don't know, but you know how to do what they're doing. So, because different programs use different words for different stuff. So why are we even talking about this? I don't know. But anyway, that's what I have to do today. So I have yet another tutoring session for kids taking a placement test today. Can y'all tell I'm like this about this? I know. I don't know why. Well, I know why I said yes, because I adore these kids. I adore the family. They're freaking out about putting these kids back in public school. So I'm like, fine, I'll hang out and talk to the kids about going to public school. So before I do that, however, I need to run my errands. And do y'all know what I had for dinner last night? I ate carrot chips with hummus and ranch dip. I know you're like, okay, you ate that and what? No, that's what I had for dinner, because y'all, that's as much of a decision as I could make. So that's what we're going to do today and I know y'all are like, dude, we saw your thumbnail. We know more than you do right now what you're talking about today. We're going to talk about we're going to do budget friendly, because I don't know that we've talked about budget friendly in a while. I know lots of folks are going back to school. School supplies cost a lot of money. So let's talk about some budget friendly options for like Weight Watchers friendly, Healthi app friendly, and just healthy in general dinner options, like things that we can throw together in a budget friendly kind of way. And let me say this before we even get into this, so that y'all aren't like dropping me comments like, why aren't you saying how much things cost? Because I don't want to say that it's disingenuous to do that, because I don't think it's disingenuous, but I know for a dang fact that things like potatoes cost a different amount here than they cost my mama back in Georgia, than they cost my friend Josh over in New York City. Like, things cost different amounts in different places. So if I say like a bag of quinoa is $3.96 at my Walmart, if it's like $4.98 at your Walmart, it doesn't help you to know how much my quinoa costs. So I'm not gonna do like price per meal or like price per serving or whatever, but I'm going to focus on meals. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, I think this is what I'm going to do. I need to like really sort of suss it all the way out, but I'm going to try to focus on items that we can use like the same item across multiple meals, because that's really what I do anyway. And I don't want to call somebody out for this and it not be them. Jennifer, not be them. Jennifer, I think it was you that mentioned, maybe it wasn't, sorry, forget I said that, but somebody mentioned buying like fresh fruit and fresh veg, and then it spoils before they get a chance to eat it. So like they're trying to keep themselves more accountable for, well, I'm totally running a light. Keep them 100% just ran a red light. Trying to keep themselves more accountable for eating the food that they buy, like not buy it and let it go bad and throw it away and then just buy some more. So I want to talk about those kind, because that's like super spendy, like that will crush your budget. So I want to talk about those kind of things. And did I mention it's fall? And y'all, I am shameless. Once like fall happens, I'm going to wear my Halloween things. I'm going to drink my fall drinks. I have been drinking my pumpkin spice chai tea for weeks now because it's been cool in the mornings and I don't even care. So if y'all want to look at me and be like, why are you reading fall books, or why are you wearing fall clothes, or why are you wearing Halloween stuff? Because it's fall. Get off me. And like fall could end in 3 days and we could have snow here. So like if you're from the upper Midwest, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're going to make hay while the sun shines. We're going to wear cute fall clothes. We're going to make cute fall things, because the winter is long and it is cold and it is coming. So y'all, I just ranted about absolutely nothing for I don't know how long, but I told y'all Mama was here. She is gone. She went back home. We had a lovely visit. The weather has turned, I mean, it's not turned cold, but it's chilly. It was like, I'll tell you this. I walked outside with the dogs this morning, didn't put a jacket on, like hit the door, noped my way straight out of that situation, walked back inside and grabbed like a full-on shearling, like, not shearling coat, but like that shearling that I got at the, not the Best Buy, good Lord, that shearling that I got at the Goodwill, put that on and took the dogs out this morning. So Mama missed the cold. Like, it was beautiful the whole time she was here. I think it rained once, but she left Tuesday and Wednesday. It turned chilly. So we had a lovely visit. Thank you all for your kind mentions of my mama in the video. We had fun making the video, and now she is home and it's time to get back to work. So let me go, let me get the groceries. I'm gonna do a workout, and then I'm gonna get in the kitchen and we're gonna talk about how to put together budget-friendly, healthy meals that can keep us on track. All right, so I'll see y'all back there.
Waking up, it's gone. It leaves us feeling cold again. Picking up the stones our hands were made to feel. And moments like these, they show us what we've got when we ain't got a thing.
Friends, I seriously had every intention of getting cleaned up, getting all this under control after my little yoga workout, but I feel so bendy and stretchy and relaxed. And look at these sweet felons. They want to sit with us. So I was going to get all cleaned up and reconvene with y'all over in the kitchen to go over my list of tips for things to buy for, budget-friendly meal planning and the like. But then the felon said, let's just sit on the couch together. So I said, all right, we can do it on the couch. So I made myself a shamelessly and unapologetically fall-centric drink. I got me some. As a matter of fact, y'all, in the description, I am going to put a link to, I don't know if it'll be to this specific tea because this is the pumpkin spice, I always call it pumpkin spice latte, that's not right. Pumpkin spice chai from a place called the Tea Spot, which I believe is in Colorado, and y'all, they have the best tea. Now this is one of their limited edition fall teas. Let me go ahead and tell you, first up and out the gate, I'm not sponsored by them. They do not know I exist. This felon's gonna drive me crazy. He's gonna jump back and forth over me the whole time. Just lay down, buddy. They don't know I exist, but I love their tea so much. You're gonna swear they're paying me to say the things that I say, but this tea, the pumpkin spice chai, is a limited edition fall tea. So I might or might not be able to link to it because they might already be sold out of it, but all of the tea that I drink is from there. It is all, well, I've gotten, I think one or maybe two that I didn't love, but it wasn't that the tea wasn't good quality. I just made a bad choice of flavors. So I'm going to link to it. I don't know if it counts as an affiliate link because it's one of those, like if you buy a certain amount from them, I think it's like 35, and it's like clear as day when you click on the link. If you spend $35, you get $10 off and I get some points, which is the same as money because I spend so much money there. But anyway, I will link to the Tea Spot. I'll put a link in the description, and I'm going to be drinking my Tea Spot tea while we're talking. And can y'all see this cup? Like I said, I'm going to be using all the fall things, even though it's only like, I don't know, September 3rd, 4th, something. I went to Kohl's. I am going to get to my list, by the way, but I went to Kohl's the other day to do an Amazon return. And at my, I don't know about y'all's Kohl's, but at my Kohl's, when you go to do your Amazon return, you have to go through the regular checkout line. And y'all know how Kohl's is all full of point of sale items in the checkout line. So normally I just go through and like listen to my book or do whatever and ignore all the stuff. But they had this cutie pie Halloween cup and I said, yes, please. So I am drinking my unapologetically fall tea out of this ridiculously fall cup. And that's all I got to say about that. So I have my notes here, and I'm hoping that if I sit here on this couch with these, oh, let me finish that story. So I was doing my Amazon return, and y'all actually went and looked. The Amazon return was for $15.50. This cup was $12.99. So I actually netted a profit there. I didn't end up spending more than I got back. I know, ridiculous. Anyway, that was the point of that whole story. So I'm hoping that if I sit here with my notes and my felons and I'm not standing in the kitchen, that I won't end up going down 100 rabbit holes and we'll actually get through this thing. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's first talk about, so our plan here is to talk about how we can budget, like be on a budget and a diet, right? Like, I know we're supposed to say like healthy eating plan or whatever, y'all's a diet. It's some kind of like whatever you eat, that's your diet. So how can we be on a budget and a diet? And I have some ideas, and then I have lists of things that I feel like if I have these things, I can be successful. So one of my biggies is, and especially if either your time or your money is limited, shop your pantry stable items first. And by that, I don't just mean like things that go in your pantry. I do mean things that go in your pantry, like your canned beans, your canned veg, your grains, all of those things that go in your pantry, but also things that last a while in your fridge. So like eggs. Y'all know I always have eggs. Generally, I'll have like 18 packs, 18 whatevers of eggs because I boil one. Like I boil all 18 eggs because I eat those 2 at a time, at least 2 a day. So I go through those in a week and a half, less than a week and a half. But so I buy 18 for boiling, and then the other 18 we use for making stuff, or like I use for I make them into those, my breakfast sandwich eggs. So, and eggs last a long time. So like, not like fruit or something that's going to spoil on you. So I consider those shelf stable or like pantry things. So I always buy those. Like if I'm tight on money or tight on time, I always make sure that I get those. Of course, y'all know this, I buy in bulk. So my point, like my tip is, and I have them written down here, my tip is buy in bulk and store properly. I've learned this lesson over the years that if you buy stuff in bulk, but you're not able to store it properly and it goes stale, it gets critters in it, which up here critters aren't as big of a deal. I mean, they're a big deal, but it's not as big of a risk to get critters in stuff up here as it was like back down in Georgia where it's warm and we would get bugs. But I mean, not that like I lived in a bug infested place, but we just don't have the bugs up here we did down there because it's just too cold. So make sure when you're buying in bulk that you have somewhere to store the things. Here, I tell you what, the intern reminds me of this all the time. I've lived here for a decade and a half and I still forget that the floor here is heated. So now, like right now, I've got a 10-pound, well, like probably half of a 10-pound bag of potatoes sitting on my floor in the pantry, which is fine right now because the in-floor heat isn't on. But starting in not very long from now, the in-floor heat's going to be on. So I can't keep like my root vegetables on the floor anymore because the floor is heated. So I have to think about things like that. Same. Just think about where you're going to store things. Like I have to think about if I want to put things in the garage, I can't put them on the floor because the garage floor is heated. But because my garage is heated, stuff doesn't freeze. Like I can't put stuff in the outside garage because it's not heated and it will get cold. But if I want to keep stuff cold, I can put it in the outside garage. So just think about where you're going to store stuff when you're buying in bulk. Also, as much as you can, plan to use seasonal produce. It tends to be cheaper and y'all, obviously it's fresher. Now, I eat pretty much the same produce all year long. So like my mama didn't get on to me the other day, but she mentioned, we were talking and she mentioned that it was actually a while ago, but that oranges were out of season and she wanted oranges. So she bought oranges and she knew they had been frozen, but she wanted them and she bought them anyway. Y'all, I eat oranges all year long. So have they been frozen? Probably. Do I eat them anyway? Yes, I do. But I do try to eat seasonal, especially seasonal vegetables, not as much fruit, but seasonal vegetables as much as I can because they come in fresher and they're cheaper. All right, so now that we like have those things in the house, okay, we got these things, how are we going to use them? Couple things. Y'all know we do this. Batch cook and then store in quantities that make sense to you. Like we gonna batch cook something today as a matter of factor, but like y'all know I make buckets of hummus. Like I will make 4 cans of chickpeas worth of hummus at a time, like 2 cans of regular hummus, like for dipping veggies, and 2 cans of chocolate hummus. But I know I'll go through that easily in a week and a half, like all of that hummus. So I don't need to break it up and store it any kind of way. And I don't know if you can freeze hummus. It doesn't last that long in my house. But I'm gonna make, well, y'all are gonna know this in a minute anyway. I'm gonna make a big old bucket, a big old pot of soup today, and I'm gonna freeze a bunch of it. Well, it's just the intern in me, and I'm gonna try to only put stuff in this soup that the intern will eat. So I'll freeze it in serving sizes that I can thaw out, and it'll be enough that the intern and I can eat a couple meals off of it, but not enough that it'll go bad in the fridge once I thaw it. But if you got a family of like 4, 6 or more than that, then freezing it in the sizes that I do don't make no sense to you. So batch cook and then store it and freeze it in the sizes that make sense to you and make sense for how you're going to use something. Along those same lines, I don't really know how to say this, but I focus on a few like core meals or core things, and then I rotate them like into and out of my menu. Like I'll make, and with me, I have to think about like what I'll eat and what the intern will eat. But like y'all know, I'll make meatballs, and if I'm trying to feed if I'm just feeding myself, I'll just eat meatballs. But if I'm trying to feed myself in the intern, I'll make different things with the meatballs. So like I'll make a big old thing of actual hamburger meatballs, not turkey meatballs, because the intern won't eat turkey meatballs, but I'll make hamburger meatballs and then maybe use them in a red sauce for spaghetti, and then use the same meatballs, like meatballs from the same batch, make meatball sandwiches, maybe make them with little like sliders with Hawaiian rolls. The intern will eat those. Or just have like meatballs and a side of something. Like he'll eat mashed potatoes, like those single servings of mashed potatoes. So I'll make him meatballs, mashed potatoes, and a veg. And for myself, I'll just have meatballs and a bunch of vegetables. So I use that same thing, those meatballs, and I just kind of rotate them through the menu so that it's one item that I've like bought in bulk, like buy a whole big old bunch of hamburger because it's cheaper by the dozen, cheaper by the multiple pounds, and then I cook it up and then just break it up and make multiple meals out of that one thing because it's cheaper. And y'all, it is way easier than trying to think about what I'm going to cook night after night after night. Also, and this is more of a do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not great about this, but plan your menus around sales. Get the weekly flyers, see what's on sale. See what maybe you and your intern and your little human felons will eat, and plan your menu around what's on sale so that you're saving money, but you're saving money on things that, you know, you'll actually eat. All right, so those are like ideas of how you can plan things. Let's talk about actual things to buy. Now this is my list. Like these are things that I keep around the house that I buy in bulk that I try to focus on to save money. One thing that I know y'all are going to be like, okay, number one is either going to be popcorn or protein. You ain't wrong. Number one is protein. And especially, again, if I'm limited on time or money, I buy protein first. So eggs, 100% all the time. Like I always have eggs. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I told y'all about this, but the intern started bringing me home farm fresh eggs from a friend of his. So I had 18 things of eggs in the fridge. He brought me 2 dozen farm fresh eggs. So it was like 1 dozen of eggs. And then no, it was way more than that. It was 2 dozens plus 18, whatever. I'm not going to do that math on the fly. Y'all stop staring at me. And y'all, we went through all those eggs because eggs are stable. They will hang out for a while, and I boiled them. I cooked them for my breakfast sandwiches. I made egg muffins. You can make all kinds of things with eggs, and and y'all, we're not going to get into all the things on all the stuff we're talking about because we'll be here all day, and I want to get in the kitchen and make that soup. But I feel like eggs are a good thing to keep around because they're the kind of thing that you can make ahead, right? Y'all know I make my eggs for my egg breakfast sandwiches, or for my breakfast sandwiches. I always have those made ahead. I make those egg muffins that we like the eggs in the little muffin tins. I make those ahead all the time. Or you can fry yourself up a couple of eggs and have a fried egg sandwich. You can make your eggs on the fly to eat right then. So eggs are just super versatile. Oh, and I always have boiled eggs too. Y'all, I eat a lot of eggs. So eggs. Canned meat. You know my love of canned meat. I've got chicken in the can. I got canned tuna. Apparently canned salmon is good too. You can also do, if you're not going to do cans, there's like the foil packs. The intern sometimes won't eat canned meat, but he'll eat foil packed meat, but whatever. So that's a good cheap alternative to like frozen or fresh protein. Buy it in a can. Of course, canned beans. Y'all know right now I've got black beans, chickpeas, and black-eyed peas. I guarantee you, we're not gonna, but we could go in my garage right now and find all of those on my shelf all the time. So you can buy canned versions of those, or what's even cheaper than beans in the can is like the dried beans. So think about doing either dried beans or dried lentils. And does that count that counts as making them from scratch, right? If you like buy them in the bag and then soak them and clean them and make them, think about that, because then you get like the big old bag for dirt cheap. Of course, again, we're still under protein. So like chicken breasts, chicken thighs, y'all know we buy the pound packs, but like the big things of the pound packs from Sam's or Costco. But I also sometimes get the big things of the like family size packs, break them up and freeze them. Those are probably better if you're more than like a couple of people eating off of it, because the ones that you get at the Sam's, they're broken down into like 2 breast packs. So if you're feeding more people than that, you probably want to get like the big family size things, but you can get chicken, you can get any of them. You can get drumsticks, you can get thighs, breasts, all that stuff. And again, buy in bulk, break it down, freeze it in the size, like quantities that work for you. Ground turkey, not cheap. And the leaner it is, the more you're going to pay for it. Not cheap, but again, I will buy ground turkey, cook it up, and then make a few different meals off of like the big thing of ground turkey. So even though it's not meat, no. Stop it. The intern is in my brain saying that's not meat. Even though it's not cheap, I get multiple meals off of it. Of course, Greek yogurt. I buy, y'all know this, the plain, like the big buckets of the plain Greek yogurt, and I'll make my 0-point ranch dip to dip stuff in. I use that instead of mayonnaise, but I will also use plain Greek yogurt, mix it with frozen fruit and a little bit of monk fruit sweetener instead of the like single serving sized or pre-sweetened, like flavored Greek yogurts, because the flavored ones are more expensive. The bulk plain ones are cheaper, and you can make them taste any old way you want. Cottage cheese too. Buy big old things of cottage cheese. Y'all know I love cottage cheese with canned fruit, but you can also do cottage cheese with frozen fruit, and you can do cottage cheese and Greek yogurt with a lot of the same things, and they're both cheap in bulk. All right, let's talk about grains. Of course, we buy our grains and like carbs in bulk. Buy the big things of brown rice, jasmine rice. I know I shouldn't. I still buy white rice, but my mama and I were talking about low inflammation diets when she was here, and white rice is a no-no. But anyway, it's cheap, it's delicious, it's very versatile. So y'all get off me. Jasmine rice, brown rice, quinoa, oatmeal. Oatmeal is very cheap, and you can buy it in big old bulks. You can get steel cut oats, which is a little more expensive, but it's less processed, it's less cut, so it takes your body longer to digest it, fills you up longer. You can get whole wheat pasta if you're trying to get away from like the really processed. I just hit a dog. I'm trying not to wake them up. Whole wheat pasta, and you can buy that in bulk. We talked about quinoa. Torts, you can get carb control or like lower calorie tortillas, and y'all, you can wrap all kinds of things in a tort. I will tend to, like when I cook my hamburger or my turkey, one of the nights we'll make tacos, and those, roll it up in a tort. You can use them for sandwiches. You can use torts for all kinds of stuff. Whole wheat bread, that's another one of those things that I feel like sometimes if you don't eat a lot of it, it can go bad. So you know what? Split up your bread loaf. Put half of it in the freezer in a Ziploc bag. Just keep half of it out and use it if you're concerned it's going to go stale or get moldy or whatever. And if the half of the loaf that you're using, if it starts to like run out, take some more out of the freezer. Or if you run slap out and forget to thaw it, just throw it in the toaster. Y'all, we've done that one many, many times. Potatoes, of course, are great to keep around. Buy those in bulk. And of course, y'all, popcorn. Can you believe popcorn is this far down my list? I have, honest to goodness, I bought a case. I should be ashamed of this. I'm not even. I bought a case of popcorn, of like the buckets of Orville Redenbacher popcorn, because it was cheaper. It ain't going to go bad, and I know I'm going to eat it. Veggies, we've talked about veggies. Try to eat fruit and or veggies with every meal now. We've gone through the whole what's better, fresh, frozen, or canned. Canned tends to be the least healthy, but if that's all that you can manage, if you don't have room in your freezer, if you can't keep fresh veg around because it's going to go bad, get you some canned veggies. Frozen veggies nowadays, they get them like from the vine or wherever it is that they're grown. They process them and flash freeze them so quickly that not much of the nutritional value is lost. between fresh and frozen veggies. So if you're concerned about your veggies going bad before you can use them, buy frozen veggies. Or if you buy fresh veg and you see that it's starting to go bad and you're beating yourself up over wasting food, just like go ahead and parboil it or prepare it some kind of way and freeze it. Who says you can't freeze your own veggies? So if you're concerned about your fresh veggies going bad, buy fresh veggies, eat them while you can, and if they start to go bad, just freeze them before they turn. And y'all know, like I keep frozen veg. Today, I decided today after getting home from the grocery store that I wanted to make vegetable soup, and I have those mixed peas and carrots in the freezer. I've got corn in the freezer. I don't think I have lima beans, but that's what's going. I think I do have cans of green beans. I think those might go in there too. I got chicken. I have all the things I need to make my chicken vegetable soup. I got all that stuff in the freezer. I have some beef. I was going to say meat. Chicken is meat, but I have some beef too, but I think I'm going to make chicken. But I keep all of those things in the freezer all the time because veggies, that's one of those things that I don't necessarily plan when I plan a meal. So I just keep them on hand all the time and then just eat the ones that I want. When I do keep fresh veggies around, but I keep canned and frozen veggies around a lot too, because then I can just eat them when I want them. And fruits, same thing. I keep frozen fruits. I was going to say, I don't know. I always say like frozen in the freezer. Of course they're in the freezer. Dimwit, they're frozen. But I keep fruit in the freezer. I also keep fresh fruit around, but you have to kind of like be aware. I mean, you have to with vegetables too, but with fruit, you have to be aware kind of the shelf life of the fruit. Like bananas, and the intern, oh, love him. He's kind of trained in on this. Like he'll buy me bananas often, but he'll ask like, do you need today bananas and a couple of day bananas or like further along bananas? So he'll buy like green bananas, yellow bananas, or like ready to eat now bananas. And you can do that with bananas, but just know that they will ripen quickly on your counter. But like apples can last for a long time. Pears can last for a long time. So when you're buying fresh fruit, just kind of be cognizant of how long you have before you have to eat them, and just try to eat them in those time spans. And if you're not eating them, cook with them. Like if you overestimated your ability to eat your apples, cut them up and make an apple pie or an apple tort, or you know what's really good? Slice them thin, bake them just like sliced thin apple with some cinnamon and nutmeg. Mix that in with non-fat plain Greek yogurt and a little bit of monk fruit sweetener. Holy Moses, is that good. And of course, banana bread, when those become overripe, although bananas in my house never get overripe. Like sometimes I used to buy bananas specifically to let them sit aside and get overripe so I could make, remember those miracle muffins we used to make? I would have to like buy bananas special to let them get overripe to make those. But anyway, those are my thoughts on fruits. Of course, buy seasonal fruits. I was going to say seasonal fruits when they're in season. I know. Buy seasonal fruits because they're going to be fresher and cheaper. And finally, we talked about pantry staples. I always have, this is another thing that I just happen to have that I'm going to throw in this soup and see how it turns out. But cans of tomatoes, I have like a variety of canned tomatoes that I keep around all the time because you just never know when you're going to want to throw some canned tomatoes into something. Low sodium broths. Salsas are great to keep around. Of course, soy sauce. And I've got like tons of different kinds of hot sauce because again, you never know when you're going to want to put it in something. But all of those like soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, Worcestershire sauce, I keep all of those around all the time because those are ones that like all those seasonings that you want to just be able to throw into something without having to plan, oh, I'm going to make this, so I need to buy some soy sauce, or I'm going to buy that. I'm going to make that, so I need to buy some teriyaki sauce. I just keep those on hand all the time. Same with low-fat and fat-free cheese. I don't know if I use these inordinately quickly or if it's just that there's so little natural food in them. I never have my fat-free cheese. It never molds. And again, I don't know if I just go through it so quickly or if there's so little organic stuff in it that nothing will grow on it. If you know the answer to that, don't tell me. If the answer is it is so inorganic that nothing grows on it, don't tell me. I don't want to know that. I do not want to know that. But I keep fat-free, like different kinds of fat-free cheeses or low-fat and fat-free cheeses around. And of course, salad dressing. Like I have different kinds of salad dressing, but mostly the ones that I eat. Just because I don't want to have to plan to make a salad. And finally, did I finally, when I got to the pantry? No. Finally is snacks. Of course, popcorn, rice cakes, those kind of things. Pickles. I think pickles are a great snack. Y'all, I'm still trying to finish off the pickles that we had from, remember when we did fried pickles in the air fryer? Yeah, I'm still eating pickles. But pickles are a great snack. They're cheap as chips, which chips aren't cheap anymore, but pickles are cheap. And 0 points, 0 bite, 0 all the things. And I like to have them around and eat them because of the sodium. It helps with my muscle cramps. So pickles are a great option. Did I already say rice cakes? Rice cakes are a good option. The sugar-free jellos and puddings, all of those. And y'all, this is my last thing. It is not cheap, but y'all know I love me some Halo Top ice cream. I keep Halo Top ice cream around, and the little like fudge pop, what are they called? The Healthi Living fudge pops. I'll put a picture here, but we keep those around all the time. They are not cheap, but it's a great way. One, it's a good little like sweet treat. And when I want a sweet dessert, those will kill my sweet tooth without killing my diet. So it's worth it for me to spend the money on those. And y'all, that's it. That's it from a list. I said we're gonna make some soup. So I started the chicken already, and all I did was thawed some chicken breasts, tossed them in some garlic, threw some everything but the kitchen sink seasoning on them, stuck them in the oven at 250, and they should be done now. So I'm gonna take them out of the oven, chop them up, and let's throw those in the pot, throw some stuff in there, and stick them in the oven. So I'll meet y'all in the kitchen, and let's throw together some soup. All right, y'all, I went ahead and made soup with ouches, and I know I said we were gonna come in the kitchen and make soup together, but then I realized how long I had been talking. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna just throw this together and then tell them about it afterwards. So here's what I did. I told you I had already cooked the chicken, right? I just stuck it in a pot, stuck in the oven at 250 for, I don't know, an hour and a half or so. So that was done. Took it out and just like shredded it into chunks. Threw it back in the pot with the liquid that had come out of the chicken and the cooking. So into that, I have to think about what all I put in here. I'm gonna do this in the wrong order, but I put in a couple of cans of tomatoes, and I used stewed tomatoes and fire roasted diced tomatoes. So I used a couple of just like normal sized cans of tomatoes, threw in a can of green beans, threw in some frozen corn, some frozen peas and carrots, shook in some oregano and some basil, put in about 4 cups of water, and some chicken better than bouillon. Stirred that up. I think that's all that I put in so far. Stirred it up, let it cook for a while in the oven, which my oven wasn't getting hot. So then I took it out, put it on top of the stove, let it cook a bit longer, and then I put in 3/4 of a cup of barley. Hang on. Here it is. 3/4 of a cup of this just regular old like pearled barley. I don't know if I said barley on our list of things to keep in your pantry, but yeah, keep some barley in your pantry in case you're making soup and you want to thicken it up just a little bit. So I didn't want to make it like thick, which is why I only put in a little bit of barley, and I thought I was going to put in barley, and that's why I put in all of that water. So look, it's actually still soupy, which is impressive for me, and it looks delish. And look, I got a white bowl this time to test it in so y'all can actually see it, because I was like, well, if I put it in a red bowl, you're not going to see it, or a green bowl, or any other kind of fancy color bowl. So look how pretty that is. Let's give it a taster. It is hot, 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 hot. But and I think I put in a little bit of salt, because you know, with the barley and all the just plain old frozen vegetables, I was like, that is going to be bland. So it's gonna be hot. It's hot, but it's really good. And you know what? I was thinking, look at this. I'm gonna show y'all here. You can see, I was thinking there's not much barley in there, but that 3/4 of a cup actually cooked up to where it is a significant amount. And like I said, I'm gonna turn this off, because it is just the consistency that I want, and I don't want it to mush down my vegetables or do anything else weird. But with that, just a little bit of barley, I was going to say it beefs it up a bit. Ain't no beef to this, but it does thicken it up a bit, but lets it still be soupy. Look at that big old piece of barley right there. Cooked up nice. All right. I'm going to quit obsessing on my barley and try my soup. It is very good, very tasty. The vegetables, I don't know if it's because I put them in frozen and then let them cook or what, but they're very crisp, very delicious. It's got a great taste to it. The combination of the tomatoes and the chicken came out really nice. Did I say I thought about doing beef? Because we have some stew beef in the fridge, but I was like, I want chicken. I want something light that I can eat a whole bunch of because it's cold and I want to be warm. Oh yeah, that's good. That's the ticket. So I think I will make some cornbread for the intern to have some soup and cornbread for dinner. And I'm just going to have this soup because it is really good. So y'all, that's it. You have seen my list of staple items and items that I buy on the regular to keep on hand to make budget-friendly, healthy meals. Let us know in the comments, what are your items that you feel like you need to have around to be able to make good meals without breaking the bank? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over here at the beginning of every week, with some book videos over on Fit Danielle Reads, sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.